Been a while since I've done one of these from the car, but yeah, Wrath of Man. I just got back. I literally just got out of it not more than 5 minutes ago. Guy Ritchie, Jason Statham teaming up again. They've done a couple movies together now. I know Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels, Snatch. If I'm not mistaken, that was Guy Ritchie, Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrel. I know Snatch is definitely it. And this is them teaming up again. First and foremost, it's a good movie. It's a pretty good movie. Not your typical Guy Ritchie fare. It does have that kind of out of place storytelling elements to some degree, but it's done in a different format than a normal Guy Ritchie movie is. Normally your Guy Ritchie movie will be, just have the scenes going, and then it'll explain how a scene went down previously from a different point of view, and then continue on in the film. In this, the movie is spaced out in 4 separate chapters. Each one has a title, and the title is actually something that gets brought up in the chapter. Chapter 1's Dark Spirit. Chapter 2 is... oh, crap. Okay, Chapter 3 was Bad Animals Bad. And Chapter 4 was... it was Liver, Lungs, Spleen, and Heart. What was number 2? Why am I blanking on that one? I am blanking on that one. I can't remember exact... oh, Scorch the Earth. Scorch the Earth. That was what it was. And each one is related to something that is said in, comparison to what's going on in the film. And they still do the Guy Ritchie kind of explaining how things went from a different point of view angle. But they do it obviously I'm not going to go in depth into spoilers per se. But the first chapter is where we're at currently. The second chapter is how we kind of got there. The third chapter is the point of view of our antagonists leading up to where we currently are. And then the fourth is essentially where it all comes together. So, that was a different way to kind of look at a Guy Ritchie film. It's still got that Guy Ritchie feel in those points. It's a much darker Guy Ritchie movie than what we normally get. I'm trying to think of a Guy Ritchie film that is comparably... honestly, kind of bleak and... I wouldn't say bleak. Bleak's not the right term. Kind of cruel. Like, this movie has a cruel tone to it. I think that's the best way. It's a very, very harsh... actually, no, harsh is the better word for it. Because, people die in this movie. The action... it's not your typical Jason Statham fare where he's martial arting it up, but he's killing fools, and other fools are dying, and... it's pretty, visceral action going on in this. People get gut shot, people are bleeding to death, people are getting, burned. It's pretty gruff. It's still very well shot, choreographed, acted. Jason Statham actually plays Jason Statham's always had that cool, I can get away with murder kind of vibe. But he's almost always got a sense of humor to him. He's always got a kind of jovialness to him to some degree. There's always a kind of energy, a life to him. This is kind of a different take on a Jason Statham character in the sense that this is an extremely cold, focused, target-locked man from beginning to end. This man, except when he's talking with his son, does not seem to experience much joy or at least express much joy or, excitement or thrill or just enthusiasm or anything. He's very cold, very calculating, very matter of fact. I'm just thinking, he has sex with a woman in the movie. We don't see the scene. It's after the fact. With a woman in the movie that he works with. But after all I'm thinking of is was he just yes, you like it, don't you? Oh, yes, so good. Oh, I'm just figuring, what was the sex like? I have to, I don't know, because he's really then interrogating her after the fact. And she's like, okay. I was I'm sorry. Because you see it in the movie, the trailer. The whole plot is he's trying to find the person who killed his son. That's the plot of the movie in a nutshell. And the measures and length he's going to get the killer of his son. I believe it was played by Scott Eastwood, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, there's no spoiler really on that. We get that pretty early on in the movie that he was the guy who killed his son. But the whole leading up to that, it's the buildup of him getting his revenge, and how it plays out, and it does play out in a very. It plays out in a very. I will say it feels like a slow burn. Like, I got out of this at 9:45. I went in there at 7:30. It was about a half-hour trailer. So while the film's maybe hour 45, maybe almost 2 hours, I will admit it did. I don't know if I say it feels long, but I felt the length. I think that's a better way to put it. It doesn't feel like, oh my God, it's been 3 hours. Oh my God, it's been 2.5 hours. No, but I felt the hour and a half because it's not a true slow burn, but it builds in each scene. Particularly each act, I should say. Each act builds into its own little climax, per se. And then the final climax is where everything has been building up to, so it all kind of like explodes on the scene. I'll say this too. We get a kind of interesting insight into like the character of Jason Statham and how he kind of interacts with the we don't truly know what Jason Statham is. They never flat out say what he is. We can assume, we have assumptions based on what we see and how people talk to him. He's got a crew called Boss. It's implied that he's actually like a crime boss of some kind, but like a highly skilled guy as well. But at the same time, it's one of those things where he seems to work within like the confines of certain like rules with authority figures. So the line of what he is kind of ambiguous to some degree. We can extrapolate a little, most likely what he is, but who he is and what he truly is still not really. It's still not really made clear through. They never flat out tell you. And I mean, even if he is like he still clearly has like some code of ethics. Like after torturing a guy who does give a name, and kidnapping what I'm assuming was his daughter. He then's like, okay, give him $2,000, give him $200,000, and give him a car, put the keys in the car, and let him be. It's like, look, he gave me a name, he helped out. Maybe we went a little rough on him, but it's okay. Oh, sorry, the light went out. I'm like, what was that? Oh, the street light went out. That's okay, all right, he did his job. And then he takes him to some other guys who are like child traffickers and all that. And it's like, they're scum, boss, but I don't think they did it. And he's like, just kills every one of them. And it's like, give the guys the money and let him go. It's like, okay. It's like he's clearly got a code of ethics, but it's still not entirely clear who or what he is. Again, you can make the argument, you can kind of get the idea of who and what he is ultimately by what they say and do in the movie, but it's still not made 100% clear overall because they just never say it, is what I'm trying to get at. But yeah, it's great to see. Not Matt Bomer, the guy from Burn Notice. Always fun to see him show up, and I can't remember the guy who played Bullet's name. But I always like seeing him show up too, so it's nice to see those guys show up. Yeah, I mean, the acting is solid. Even though Jason Statham is basically a man who's just fueled by rage at the loss of his son and is just going on a one-man crusade, there's clearly subtlety to the acting he's doing. Jason Statham, well, first off, he's a fantastic action star. I think he's really our only modern day action star left at the moment. I mean, The Rock, sure, but The Rock is a different type of action star than Jason. I'm talking about the get an action film, watch someone beat the shit out of someone. You can see some like martial arts or just some street fighting or whatever. That's what I'm talking about. And then Jason Statham's kind of our only true action star left. Like in back in the days of Schwarzenegger, Stallone, all that. The Rock can kind of qualify for that, but yeah, The Rock kind of toes the line because The Rock is a lot of other things in acting too. He's such a fun action star a lot of time. We forget that Jason Statham is actually a really good actor. I mean, I don't know if he's Oscar caliber. I've never seen him really try to stretch his chops like that. But he's a really good actor. Because, again, look at Guy Ritchie films like Snatch. Look at The Bank Job. There's a film it's a small film. It's got Jessica Biel, Luke Evans, or just be Chris Evans. Dane Cook has a brief appearance in there too, but Chris Evans and Jason Statham, called London, and it's just about relationships, the breakup, the aftermath, dealing with it, whether you can or not. And like a good third or half of this movie is just Jason Statham and Chris Evans doing cocaine in the bathroom and having a conversation about their relationships and what went wrong. And it's a really good movie. If you can check out London, I would highly suggest it. Absolutely. Especially if you just like movies with acting. Because it's a character movie. That's what it is. There's also a great scene where he talks about going to like an S&M club. It's like, I just want to get me dick sucked and make you fill out a 3-page form in triplicate. It's like, you just, not just a physical pleasure, but there's a mental stimulant pleasure as well. But the moment you come, man, you are so it's like, I'm serious. London is, I think, a really underrated movie. Props to anyone who has seen that movie. I really appreciate that movie. I really do. Overall though, yeah, it's a good movie. It's also got humor to it. I'm not gonna say it doesn't, but the humor doesn't come from Jason Statham really at that much. He's got a couple moments where you can get a laugh out of him, but the humor kind of comes from the other people around him when there is humor to be had. But yeah, it is a film that takes itself seriously, but it works. It 100% works. So I would definitely recommend it. If you like Jason Statham, if you like Guy Ritchie, if you like a good kind of revenge crime film, I definitely give this one a recommendation. Tomorrow I'm probably going to be seeing Nobody for the second time for myself, but the first time for my girlfriend tomorrow. Assuming we can get a showing. If we can't, we'll be seeing Raya and the Last Dragon, which Cinemark has finally brought to their screens. And it looks like my Cinemark is now officially open throughout the week, so even if I don't see Raya tomorrow, I'm going to go see it on Tuesday for matinee. So, without further ado, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. As always, you want us to review something, put in the comments below. Let us know. We'll do a review of it at some point. Hit that bell if you want to be notified. I got What If. Normally I pre-record the What If, but I just wasn't in the mood to pre-record it. So, whether I get it out late tomorrow or I get it out on Sunday, it'll be out in the weekend. But other than that, I only have the What If tomorrow. For anyone who's asking, I will do a review of the new Pokemon Snap. I'm not done with the game, though. That's the thing. I'm still finishing out the game. I want to at least finish out the story part of it before I do any sort of coherent review. Anyway, I digress. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you folks next time. Later.